Hello, Mama, and welcome back to the B3 Mastermom. Thank you so much for taking some time out of your busy day to invest in yourself. The stronger that mom gets, the stronger that the whole family gets. Today's topic is a continuation of the Mom Bod. We are diving into your nutrition. The agenda for today is to answer a really important question. Is our food poison or is it fuel? I have my own story and journey to share with you because now you guys are all part of the B3 Babes community. We are going to check in on your progress on the B3 balance wheel and make sure that we are moving the needle in all of the areas. I have another rock star interview for you with a registered dietitian and a brand new mama. She is going to speak to us about staying hydrated, variety in the foods that we consume, as well as moderation and intuitive eating. And as always, we are going to end our time together in scripture and in prayer. This is your time to fill your own cup and to feed your soul, so to speak. So thank you for being here and making time for you. Let's dive right in. So, is our food poison or is it fuel? Well, to answer that question, we really have to ask ourselves, what is our diet? Now, in modern terms, diet is the next best, latest, greatest fad to lose pounds. But by definition, in nutrition, diet is the sum of foods consumed by a person or a living organism. Wikipedia says that our food is our preferences, and the Oxford Dictionary says that a diet is the kinds of food a person or an animal habitually eats. Did you catch that? Preferences, habitual. The Greek origin of the word translates into way of life, day in, day out, mom's routine. What are we putting into our bodies? For 9 months, the food that you ate, it fueled not only you, but it fueled your baby as they grew inside of you. And now that same food, it's either going to help or hurt the soft tissue that needs to heal, that needs to strengthen. And we learned all about that in one of our earlier videos. New moms need so much energy to keep up with all of the B's, all of the things. New moms that are nursing or not nursing have this idea of 2,000 calories, and this comes to us from WebMD. Well, what if you get less than that? Could it affect your mood? Could it affect your energy? Could it affect those neuro pathways that we talked about in the earlier videos? Remember, baby blues and baby brain are a real thing. So when we think about that, protein-rich foods can help our blood production. It helps us really heal from labor and delivery. And what about iron-rich foods? They make new blood cells, which after what we've been through and all of the loss, whether it was vaginal or cesarean, this is something that we deserve to replenish in our bodies. WebMD also recommends drinking half your body weight in water, and our expert has some tips and tricks for us as well. And this is every single day. I want you to think about that. If you weigh 200 pounds like I do, that means I have to drink 100 ounces of water every single day. Our OB friend Rachel talked to us about the convenience of hydration stations. So here's my tip. Go to Target, get those Yeti knockoffs in your favorite color, fill them up with water, throw some of your favorite fruits and veggies in there, and I want you to place them all around the house. They're going to stay cold for days, and you are going to be more likely to get the water that you need to keep your body healing and strong. What about crock pot meals? Have you ever done one of those? If you haven't, now is the time. They say set it and forget it. We have linked some of our favorite recipes for new moms in the module for your convenience. And when anybody comes to visit and they ask, can I bring you food? Say yes, take them up on it, receive the help. Remember, we've been working on this. Tell them, I would love for you to bring us a nutritious meal. Thank you. Heavy emphasis on the nutritious meal so that you can consume food that fuels you instead of poisons you. Okay, so let's take some inventory on what we prefer, what we are habitually putting into our body, the food that we are already consuming since this baby was born. Is it fuel? Is it poison? Is it a bit of both, if we're being honest? When you think about your nutrition, let's go ahead and plot on a scale of 1 to 5 where you feel you are on the B×3 balance wheel. Okay, so I don't know about you, but after I had my kiddos, I felt like there were so many rules to foods. Things were off limits between gas pains and nursing and trying to get back into my skinny jeans. There wasn't much left for me to consume as healthy. And I sure as heck didn't have time to prepare it, and I didn't have the energy to prepare it either. I remember somebody telling me that I should not be eating strawberries or anything with seeds in it because it would give my baby reflux. However, that same person told me to drink a couple of beers because it's good for my milk production. I remember eating lactation cookies like they were Skittles. They were made out of honey and dates and oats and so yummy. But then I felt shame and I felt guilt because I was like, whoa, what about the calories and the fat content? And all of a sudden, green peppers and broccoli just started giving me terrible gas. And I felt parched all the time, just super dehydrated, hungry, never satisfied, but too tired to do anything about it. Are you there? Am I the only one that dreams about Rachel Ray and Emerald just showing up and stocking the fridge with fully cooked, fully nutritious, fully fat-free food? Or is this just me? Takeout was my best friend. My relationship with food was never really the greatest, if I'm being honest. I come from a long line of Italian cooking and big bones, where if you ask for seconds, that means a whole nother plate of pasta. And I grew up pretty active. I had sports, I had clubs, and so I actually was able to outrun some of my eating behaviors. And in high school, I was so self-conscious of my body that for lunch, I would bring raw fruits and vegetables and squeeze lemon on them because I got so sick and tired of the flavor. It was so bad that I ended up giving myself an ulcer. I also told you about how I ordered my wedding dress 2 sizes too small on purpose and fit into it. And after having kids, I signed up for every diet, every drink, every coffee, every green tea, every pill, every app out there with no success. The turning point for me was right after maternity leave with my second child, Gio. I had just gone back to work and I was managing a team of people. My company had a huge event in Orlando, and so I was leaving both of the kids with my husband for 4 days. I was completely frazzled, getting everything ready for my departure. I had pumped, I had packed, and I had kissed them all goodbye. I headed out for the 4-hour drive, but I skipped breakfast and I skipped lunch. And I got to Orlando just in time for the welcome reception, where I greeted my team and I greeted my clients. But the first thing that I ate that day was hummus, and the first thing I drank that day was a big glass of red wine. Well, after one bite and one sip, I was keeled over with stomach pain. So I excused myself to the restroom, where I sat on the toilet and I waited and I waited and I waited and I tried to make myself fart so that I could get on with this really important work event. Well, the fart never came, and so my stomach pain was so severe that I just laid down on the cold bathroom floor at a Walt Disney World resort. Yuck, I know. But luckily, one of the ladies on my team came in to check in on me, and I was in so much pain I couldn't really communicate with her. And so she called EMS, and the head of HR at my global Fortune 500 company helped wheel me out on a stretcher in front of everybody. I was mortified. Talk about failing at work-life balance. That was me. I'm in an Orlando hospital. After many tests, they found out that I had 6 large gallstones. My lack of food that day caused the acid in my stomach to move them all to one side and block my digestive tract. They wanted to remove the gallstones and put me into surgery that day. And guess what? I didn't let them. I said, no, give me some antacids and bring me back to my work event. And I did not get my gallbladder removed for another 6 months, suffering every time I ate too much, every time I ate too little, every time I ate too much deep fried food. Food was literally poisoning my mom bod. And this is just another example of moms putting themselves last. Now, gallbladder removal is pretty common after childbirth because remember, Liz talked to us about how our organs have moved around and my gallbladder was now in a different spot. So whether this was pressure from society or pressure that I put on myself that I could not take the time to eat what was right and to have the surgeries that I needed to make my mom bod healthy, fuel is what I needed so that I could move from survival mode to thriving mode. And like God always does, he found a way to force me to slow down and reevaluate what I did with my body and what I put into it. Are you there right now? What has your journey with food been like? Go ahead and start writing it in your B3 journal now. Okay, so are you wondering what happened next? Well, I went on a journey to find the food that would fuel me. And for a while, I thought that the only thing that could really fuel me was things that grew out of the ground. And these fruits and vegetables were going to help me heal my relationship with my body and with food. So for 2 years, I became a vegetarian. Insert our expert, Cassandra Golden Sampson. After feeling a bit lethargic for a few months, I decided to get a blood panel done and a physical. Way to go, taking care of mom. Well, my doctor mentioned that I was deficient in a bunch of different vitamins, and so I started looking for a dietitian and a nutritionist to help guide me. Cassandra came very highly recommended from a friend, and I told her about my vegetarian lifestyle and from bouncing from diet to diet. And do you know what blew me away about what she said? She told me, no food is off limits if you have a healthy relationship with it. What? I'm never going to forget that. Needless to say, I'm no longer a vegetarian, which, if you are, that is great. And because of her content and her advice, I no longer view food as a punishment or as a reward. Cassandra is a registered dietitian and a licensed nutritionist. She is a mindful and instinctive eating practitioner. After recovering from a personal battle with binge eating herself, Cassandra has dedicated her career to teaching the art form of mindful and instinctive eating. Cassandra now owns a telehealth-based private practice offering one-on-one nutrition counseling, group classes, and even online courses like this one. Since 2013, Cassandra has worked alongside hundreds of clients on their personal journey towards making peace with food. Her service is rooted in the principle of mindful and instinctive eating. And her role as a dietitian has really shifted over the years from handing out meal plans to helping others heal an intimate relationship with the food that they consume. She holds a master's degree in dietetics and nutrition from Florida International University. She has her bachelor's degree in exercise science from the University of South Florida. Cassandra has also written a cookbook. She loves to teach Zumba fitness classes, and she is a volunteer captain at her local food pantry. And she strives to live a life on purpose, with intention, with her new little girl and her husband. Cassandra's most recent adventure has been creating and publishing the Intuitive Eating Journal, 30 Mindful Instinctive Thoughts to Start Your Day. I cannot wait for you to hear what she has to say. Cassandra, thank you so much for spending some time with us today. We are excited to hear what you have to say as a dietitian. And I have a captive audience of new moms that are eager and have taken time out of their day to learn a little bit more about food. So what are some of the topics that you would like to talk to them about today?
Yes. Well, first of all, thank you for having me. This is a really special, topic, and I mean, I am in this realm right now, so this is very exciting. But there's three things that I would want new moms to really be aware of as they are going through this season of life, and that's going to be hydration, so important, variety in their diet, and then also I'd like to talk to them about moderation and balance.
Balance. Yes, that's what we've been talking about for the past several weeks. And it's really exciting because you were talking about these things even before you became a mom.
Yes.
And now that you're a mom, you're probably even more fine-tuning it, huh?
Yes, so many dots are connecting now that I am a mom to understand, why this area of life is so important. When we come home with a new baby, it's like our world is upside down in a good way. But there's just there's so many other things that we're trying to figure out. But then the nutrition, I feel like, really takes a backseat.
It sure does. So let's go ahead and dive into the first topic of hydration. So when we talked to the OB, she had talked about these things called hydration stations. Just make it super convenient.
Mm-hmm.
So why would medical professionals and new moms really need to focus on hydration?
Yes.
Talk to us about that.
I've never heard of the hydration station thing, but that is so smart, like now that I think about it. But it is so important because if someone is breastfeeding, we have to replenish that fluid that is going through our breast milk that is our baby is having. So we have to replenish that. If someone's supply is kind of dwindling, hydration really can be the culprit. And I think so many times people think about, oh, I started exercising or I'm just not producing enough. But it really can be lack of hydration or dehydration. But to the point of the OB with the hydration station, I recommend what I call habit stacking.
Okay.
So we have certain habits that we do every day, whether we know it or not. We wake up, right? We wake up and we go to sleep every day. So when we wake up, drink a glass of water. Before bed, drink a glass of water. Every time that you breastfeed, if you are breastfeeding, drink a glass of water. You're already doing these things, so we're just going to stack a new habit on top of the habit that we already have.
I love that. So that's connecting the dots of your new routine that you're already getting used to.
Mm-hmm.
What about our non-breastfeeding mamas? Is hydration equally as important for them?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, yes. And like I said before, when we come home with a baby, our world is, it's upside down in a good way. But it is so easy to just forget about hydration. I feel like drinking water is often under-recognized, especially, before you have a baby, if it's just not really part of your life. It is hard to get into that habit once you get home and everything else is going on. So hydration is important for breastfeeding, but those who are not breastfeeding, it's also important for just our cognitive ability. Like it affects, if we are even 2% dehydrated, it affects our memory, our ability to carry out tasks, which, I mean, that kind of affects
baby
your whole
brain
day.
and everything else.
Exactly,
Yeah.
baby brain. It affects baby brain. So hydration is important for everyone. The recommendation that I typically give is about 64 to 70 ounces of water a day. And that comes out to about 4 regular sized water bottles.
Okay, so 4 water bottles.
Mm-hmm.
And if we have it habit stacking, maybe by the toothbrush or by the rocking chair, then we're just really setting ourselves up for success so that we have enough hydration and fluid so that our body is working strong.
Yes.
So that our mind is working strong.
Yes.
We talked a little bit about postpartum depression and anxiety, and I'm sure being dehydrated wouldn't help those things either.
It definitely wouldn't help. And there are a lot of resources that can help people drink water nowadays. There's a lot of free apps. I think one of them is called Water Reminder app. And it's just like little alarms that can go off. There is one, I forget what it's called, but it has a plant, and every time you drink water, you like log it, and the plant starts to flourish. The more water, So it's like this little visual, and then the plant also dies if we're not logging our water. There's a special water bottle that is like a Bluetooth water bottle, and it has all these like bells and whistles. It helps you remember to drink water. But then I see a lot of people get this water bottle off Amazon, and it has little like encouragement quotes on it, and like
sayings.
Those are really, I mean, it's such a simple idea, but it is really helpful.
But make it fun, right?
Yeah.
Mom's got enough to worry about. Make it fun, make it convenient, and stay hydrated.
Exactly.
Okay, so new mama, what are you going to do to make sure you have enough water in your system to make your brain and your body strong? Go ahead and open up your B×3 journal now and put together a plan. All right, Cassandra, so mom is staying hydrated. We're making it as habitual as possible, but we know that with the baby, we need to be mindful of what food they're eating. And there's this idea of having the baby kind of eat the rainbow and all the different colors when they're ready. And I'm just wondering, out of all the foods a new mom can and cannot eat, what are your thoughts on variety?
That's a good question. So a very common trend that I'm seeing is that moms are, putting so much attention on the diet of their children or their babies or their teenagers, but the attention to their own eating habits really just, start to get less and less attention. So, then I work with these clients where, years and years down the road, they're like, how did I even get here? I put so much focus on what my child was eating. They, everything turned out well, but now my own eating habits have really suffered. So variety is so important. So eating the rainbow, yes, I definitely agree with that. And what that refers to is eating fruits and vegetables of all different colors. And, I think we all have heard eat your vegetables. Maybe our parent has said that, but there is such validity to that because vegetables and fruit have different pigments, which are different colors, which represent different nutrients. And these nutrients are antioxidants or phytonutrients or phytochemicals. There's a lot of words that we can refer to it as, but these are like the extra credit nutrients. Like they go beyond just vitamins and minerals. Antioxidants have I call them the superpower nutrients, but variety, when we talk about variety, when we're getting all these different colors, we're getting all different nutrients. So it's not that, if we only ate foods that were red, if we just had strawberries or tomatoes or watermelon, it wouldn't be terrible, but we would be kind of, I guess, giving ourselves a disservice because there are purple fruits and vegetables that have a different nutrient. There are green, there are yellow, there are orange. So really focusing on a very colorful plate is very beneficial when we're talking about these superpower nutrients.
I love that. And I love a colorful plate, whether you're a new mom or just in general. I love it for the kids. I love it for myself. But I've heard so many different things of bananas are bad and strawberries are bad and stay away from broccoli and Brussels sprouts. And how does mom know what colors and what to eat and what not to eat? And why is this so hard?
Yeah. That is, it is very discouraging that there are so many rumors like that out there, right? Don't eat bananas, they're bad. But when we really think about it, how bad could a banana honestly be? And I think that stems from something called diet culture. And diet culture is this habitat that we're all immersed in. And it kind of stems from this school of thought that there are certain foods that are bad and there are certain foods that are clean and good and healthier, yes.
Yeah.
So I think we really have to check our thoughts and our beliefs about food. Where is this coming from? If it's coming from diet culture really breeds this dysfunctional relationship with food and body image. And it all starts from, generations and generations ago when the cabbage soup diet was the thing. And then smoking cigarettes and not eating was the
grapefruit for breakfast.
Right, exactly. And all of that, decade after decade after decade, it's still happening, but it's happening in a different way. We have different names for the diets now.
Yes. Okay. So when we think about the foods and the vegetables that we're eating, do you have any tips and tricks on the best variety for a new mom? How does she know?
I think that comes down to what the new mom likes. I don't think that we should ever get a paper and put in front of us and say, I have to eat this, but I can't eat this. It really comes down to what is your preference? And if you have a list of foods that are off limits, where is that coming from? Is it because you're allergic to it? Is it because it doesn't make you feel good? Or is it because I was taught that I shouldn't have bananas and I shouldn't eat carrots after 8 p.m.? We really have to question where these thoughts are coming from.
I love that. Doing a little bit of self-reflection. And I have definitely been guilty of using food as a punishment or a reward. And through some of your journals and some of your content, I've finally started asking myself those tough questions. Why?
Yeah.
Why? And I wonder, Mom, when you look at your plate, are you getting all of those super nutrients, all of the energy that you need to be the best mom, the best wife, the best human possible? Are you using the colors and the foods on your plate as fuel instead of poison. Go ahead and open up your B×3 journal now and do some self-reflection. So, Cassandra, we are staying hydrated. We are giving ourselves permission to eat the foods that we want to eat, and we're getting balance throughout the colors of the rainbow. But when is enough enough? Or how do we know what the right amount of food is? What is the moderation of it?
Yes. So moderation is, I guess I would call it a buzzword, right? We've all heard like, oh, in moderation, it's okay in moderation. I think, so first of all, moderation, there is no official definition. So your moderation can be different from my moderation, which is okay. But the definition that I would provide is it is less than what the baseline is. So, and the baseline is really like the starting point. So for example, if my baseline was I have, I don't know, 5 sodas a day, in moderation for me, it may be cutting back to 2 sodas or 1 soda or however many a week. So that could be my moderation. Whereas your moderation may be, I'm just going to have 1 a month, or I'm not going to have any at all. So moderation is just, it's kind of tricky because it's going to be different for everyone. But what it really boils down to is it's less than what it was in the beginning.
And so less than what it was in the beginning, I want to be really clear that this isn't the number on the scale before you became pregnant, right?
Right.
That's not our baseline.
No.
So what is our baseline? How do we find out what it is?
Well, I think it depends on what we're kind of talking about. Like if we're talking about certain foods or if we're talking about an actual number on the scale. But I think it's also important to kind of dig deeper and think about, as far as moderation goes, what is my intention behind consuming something in moderation or drinking something in moderation? Is it because I don't feel great when I have it in excess? Or is it because I was taught that, you know, I shouldn't have, you know, X, Y, and Z, this whole list of foods, so I'm going to have it in moderation? Because, for example, if it's chocolate, so say, you know, I grew up on all these diets and I know that if I have chocolate in the house, I'm going to binge on it. So I have to keep it in the trunk or not even
control.
Have it, not even have it in the house at all. So that in moderation is not really going to be helpful because more restriction doesn't make me want it any less. Me knowing that it's in the trunk doesn't make me want it any less. So eating that in moderation, I don't find is going to be helpful. I think what's going to be helpful is making peace with chocolate or making peace with food so it doesn't have power over me anymore. So you had mentioned permission. So something that I really promote in my practice is intuitive eating. And intuitive eating really allows full permission to eat whatever you want with no conditions. So there's no conditions of I can only have it once a week or I can only have it on certain days at certain times. So when we put conditions on ourselves as far as eating goes, it really creates a psychological pull to go straight towards what we're trying not to have. So it gets very like psychological.
Yeah, it's almost like the opposite effect, you know? Like even when your kids get a little bit older and you tell them don't touch the hot stove, they're going to want to do it. Chocolate is the hot stove or whatever that vice is for you. And it's not even a vice. So talk to us a little bit about this relationship with food, because maybe there are some generational curses or personal curses that we really need to make peace with if we are going to be a great example with our relationship with food for the kids when they get older.
Yeah. One of the first things I ask my clients when they're new is, how would you describe your relationship with food? And a lot of clients kind of look at me weird, like I'm not dating food, right? But we eat every single day for the rest of our lives. So it's so important to make sure that that relationship is not toxic and it's not creating anxiety or, you know, any angst. But so many times, I would say the majority of times of people that I work with who have been on diets for decades and decades, it all started with a learned behavior from their mom or their grandparents. And their mom and grandparents learned it from somewhere else too. So like we mentioned about diet culture, it's everywhere. You know, diet culture is everywhere. So if we believe that I can't have, you know, these foods at these times and things like that, it's probably because we learned it from somewhere, whether it was growing up, being put on our first diet at 5 years old, or, you know, within the limits of social media. I mean, it's coming from everywhere. And diet culture pops up in conversations at the gym, at the dinner table,
with strangers, at Target. Like, I mean, everybody has judgment.
It is so common. So I think so many times we don't even realize that we are kind of succumbing to diet culture because that's all we know.
I love that. So, mamas, I want to give you permission, and I have a feeling Cassandra is going to give you permission as well. When you think about what you are eating, the things that bring you joy, the things that you dread eating, but you know are going to give you mommy fuel and mommy energy. If somebody is telling you, don't eat that, or don't eat as much of that, I want you to say to yourself, why? In your journal, reflect on all the whys that you are going to come across and that you have come across in your relationship with food. Okay, so I love this. We have given this new mama some permission, some information about how to stay hydrated, how to use food as fuel to give her the energy that she is absolutely going to need in this postpartum season. What else, as we close out our time today, would you like a mom to know about her relationship with food?
I think one of the most important things that I've come across now that I'm a mom is to make sure, if applicable, to heal your relationship with food prior to having kids. Or if you've already had kids, it's never too late. Because as moms, our relationship with food and body image is going to get passed down. So if I am hearing my mom say, I can't eat that, I'm too fat, I can't fit into that, and just saying it gives me chills because it makes me so sad that it's just so common. So it is so important to start healing and doing that inner work so that we can be the role model for our kids, whether that's sons or daughters. And one of the ways that I help people do that is I have created a self-paced journal that's available on Amazon now to really help people heal their relationship with food. And I describe it as a daily devotion. It's only 30 days, and you don't have to do it in 30 days straight, but it's a daily devotion for food, body image, and nutrition. And it really starts to ask those why questions, those big questions like, where are these thought processes coming from? Why do I feel like I have this pressure that I have to lose the baby weight? Why do I feel like I have to get my body back? Like all of these phrases are just so common, and they don't have to be. And I think that the change can start with us, like one by one, we can start to make this change and change that inner dialogue of what it means to be successful. It doesn't have to come down to our physical appearance at all.
No.
And that's such a norm, in this world that we're living in. And I think that so much of it is coming from social media. And there are numerous studies that are connecting social media and disordered eating, specifically a type of disordered eating, which is called orthorexia. And orthorexia is, there's not an official definition that I'm aware of, but it's basically an obsession with healthy eating. So one may say,
is that bad?
So bad.
Yeah.
One may say it doesn't seem so bad, but the obsession runs deep. And then it turns into anxiety and poor quality of life. And it kind of travels into other disordered eating patterns. And once our quality of life starts to decline and we're just becoming obsessed with healthy eating, it will affect everything, our marriage, our finances, everything, our mental health. So we really have to be aware of the environment, whether that's social media, the conversations at the gym, everywhere, and try to cleanse our environment so that we're not picking up on all of these things that we're looking at every day and that we're hearing every day.
I love this idea of cleansing the environment and having a choice in the matter of the relationship that we have with food and the relationship that we're going to pass down to our kids, because it starts so young. In all of the interviews that I've been doing with moms all over the country, the number one fear that they have is that they're going to mess up their child. And I think that's physical. I think that's mental. I think that's spiritual. And a lot of that comes through osmosis and observation. And so the little things that we say to ourselves in the mirror matter. And they're going to pick up on it sooner rather than later.
Yeah, it does. And I was reading a study, I think it was from 2012, where the average amount of time a woman has been on a diet is 17 years. 17 years of our lives worrying about food, missing out on memories of going trick-or-treating with Halloween and things like that, but having such an angst about the chocolate. And that study showed that the age started at 16 going on a diet. But I would argue, there are plenty of clients that I work with where they were put on a diet at age 5, elementary school, and it doesn't stop. That's the start of a toxic relationship with food for the entire life.
Wow, this is incredible. And so moms, We're giving you the power back. We are giving you the choice to cleanse your environment and to make sure that you are leading by example with this relationship with food. Cassandra, thank you so much for sharing all of this information with B3 and all of these mamas.
Yes, thank you for having me.
It's my pleasure. Given all that we have just learned, I want you to pick just one thing. If you can do just one thing today to improve your nutrition, to improve your relationship with food and with your mom bod, what is that thing that's going to help you? Go ahead and write it down in the B3 journal now. Cassandra's not the only one with advice on food. Did you know that the Bible is pretty explicit on what to put in your body and when to put it in there? What to eat, what to drink. I want to start out in 1 Corinthians. Now, remember, we learned about Paul. He was visiting the city of Corinth, which is in Greece, and he was writing letters back and forth with the people there after he left because some of them started following Greek ideas about the body. So we're going to go to chapter 10, verse 31. Paul tells us in Corinthians that when you eat or drink or do anything, always do it for honor and glory of God. I think about that a lot now. Would eating this or that honor God? Well, if it brings me joy, then He's going to be joyful. But if I'm just doing it out of emotions and gluttony and indulgence, then that's actually a sin, and it's not bringing honor to God. And I'm definitely not treating my body like a temple for the Holy Spirit. So, if I am honoring God with the food that I eat and the things that I drink, how much of it should I be consuming so that it's not gluttonous or indulgent? Well, the answer to that comes to us from Solomon, son of King David, the king of Israel. He talks about this in Proverbs 13:25. It says, "The righteous eat till their hearts are content, but the stomach of the wicked goes hungry." Your heart's content. That means you are satisfied. Your appetite is full until your bellies are full. So starving yourself on a trip to Orlando, to the point of ulcers or gallstones, it's not honoring God. It's not honoring you. It's not treating your body like the temple that it is. Okay, so let's say we're honoring God with what we're eating and what we're drinking. We are eating until we are satisfied without overindulging. But what exactly should we be consuming? Well, we have to go all the way back to the beginning in the first book of the Bible, in Genesis chapter 9, verse 3. And this is Moses telling us what God said. It says, "Everything moving that lives shall be food for you. And as I give you the green plants, I give you everything." Did you catch that? Moving things, green plants. Sounds like a pretty well-balanced diet to me. Protein, fruits, veggies. I even envision plenty of fresh spring water in the Garden of Eden. I know, it's easier said than done. And remember, this is my hardest B. I had to split it into 3 parts. But Mama, we are going to grow stronger in our mom bods together. So what do these scriptures say to you? Reflect on God's instructions on nutrition in your B3 journal now. Can I pray for you, Mama? Because I know this one's probably going to be just as hard for you as it is for me. So shake out that mom bod. Close your eyes. Just be still for a second. Let's talk to our Father. Dear Heavenly Father, thank you. Thank you for this time. Thank you for your words, your instructions throughout the Bible. Thank you for putting people in our life that help us heal our relationships with our body through the food that we eat, through the things that we consume, through the things that we look at, through the things that we drink. Let us remember to honor you with all of it, every bite we take, every sip we take. Dear Lord, I just pray that we treat these bodies that we have on earth as a temple for your Spirit to reside in. You have given us such a gift of life, our own and this child. Help us cherish it and honor it. And when we are feeling defeated by diet culture or by our thoughts or by our own disappointments, just put a hedge of protection around us and help us be strong. Help us turn to you and help us go to others that might help us heal our relationship with food. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen. Okay, so how are you feeling about your mom bod? You are not alone. The B×3 Babes community on Facebook is here to help. We want to hear about what's going pretty well, but we also want to hear about what's hard, because there are a ton of other mamas who have done this and can help you on your journey and your relationship with food. So I want to thank you for spending the last few minutes with us as we go on this journey of nutrition with our mom bods. Thank you for investing in yourself, and we'll see you on the next video.